All right, sounds good. All right, everyone. Hey, happy Friday. It's another edition of Pints with Ayre. I'm Jake Forsyth, your host. We got Ariel Brown here. Cheers, Mr. Ariel. I gotta pour mine, actually. Get it nice and ready here. So, yeah, today we're gonna go do another walkthrough on one of our classic products, the K3 preamplifier, and kind
product
of
number 3.
Yeah, lucky number 3. But we're going to keep rolling through our company and product history a bit here, kind of continue telling the story about Ayre and some of the cool innovations that we were doing early on, and just kind of go over some of the things that made this probably one of our most popular preamps ever too. I mean, each one keeps getting better, but yeah, so I guess that's what we're talking about tech-wise today, but we've got a really cool local brewery that I just discovered. Ariel's known about it, but a new one to try out for us. This is Beyond the Mountain Brewing, and we like to stay close. We like to stay close to home if possible, and they're just a quick jaunt away from us, but Ariel's been here a few times before, and I'm new to it, but they've got a really cool music themed
Music concert theme, yeah.
Have you caught any music over there?
No, I've never been there for that. I think maybe someone was setting up or shutting down last time I was there, but I haven't caught any music there. But more just that like their whole theme is like, is kind of concert going. So their whole bar is covered in ticket stubs, and like it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, when I took a visit the other day, I took a few pictures. Oh, here's the outside. It's one of my Mazdas. But yeah, one of the things that I really liked when I came in here is there's no TVs anywhere. There's just there's no monitors. It's just they want you just vibing out, listening to music. Now there is a projector up there on the stage up front there, where they actually will lower that and do like concerts. They'll do like live stream concerts or live music performances that they'll put up there. Oh wait, there is a TV. Look at that. There is. Well, I didn't notice it. It's right.
No.
It's behind you. You don't look at a TV when you're sitting at the bar.
But a lot of the breweries that I can think of around here don't usually have TVs, actually, but regardless,
it's good. It's distracting. I want to socialize and enjoy the company while I'm there. But yeah, so they do a lot of open mic nights and concerts, and their brews change a lot. They're very into improvisational music, and so they like to improvise and change their recipes up quite frequently. So I thought that was also really neat. Yeah, Beyond the Mountain Brewing. We like you guys.
It was Czech Dark Lager is the interesting one.
Yes.
This looks like a collaboration that they did with some other brewery.
Well, on this note, it was kind of funny timing. I got this on a Tuesday this week, and on Wednesday, the day after, just out of nowhere, unprompted, our friend Peter Podolsky from the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, our distributor out there, reached out just to say hey and check in, and I think that's a good sign that I need to start visiting our world brews a little bit more.
Yeah,
get our distributors reaching out to us. All right, that's enough beer talk and music talk for Beyond the Mountain. I think let's dive into this beautiful K3. Gosh, look at that
K3 thing. Yeah, so this was the first product that I'll say work on. It was mostly physically, because Charlie designed the prototype, and I actually hand built every single circuit board. I soldered every single resistor, capacitor, transistor. We made 2 prototypes. Still have them here. Both the prototypes I have them back in my R&D lab. One of them I used as a basis for one of my final college projects. But anyway, they're both still here. So so if you remember when I was talking about the K1, K1 was originally supposed to be the K3. And then once, Charlie, designed it, you did basically everything the best he knew how to at the time, and realized, well, this is really more of our reference piece, and was intended to be more of entry level. So after doing the K1, it was, I would say, easier for Charlie to scale back and develop the K3. And so used a lot of the same technologies. Again, outboard power supply, same exact technology there with the choke input filtering, separate box. The circuit topology is the same. It used, let's see, I think it used the same quality resistors. It used a different type of film cap. So that was there. The Shalco step attenuator was still employed. It was just not built into the audio board the same way. So it was a separate unit. And so it was much more modular, much easier to build. That Shalco module was actually assembled by Shalco. So we just got that in and could pretty much install it. So it was much faster to build. Still the same exact remote control technology with a stepper motor and the clutched belt and pulley. But then, an input board and an audio board, and again, then connected by wires instead of all built into one board on that K1. Mm-hmm. So again, it's so it saved quite a bit of cost, quite a bit of assembly time, much easier to build. And we have those input shafts. You see those brass shafts down the middle that connect to the input selection as well as the tape out selection. And then this one shows the optional phono board, which again, very similar to the K1. Again, same exact topology, just with a different level of film cap employed. Otherwise, it's really, really just a minorly scaled down version of the K1. And just with a few compromises as far as, like separate boards instead of one board, and the Shalco being attached by wires instead of built into the board. But otherwise, it does not give up much to the K1.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Charlie's kind of initial philosophy or goal was to try to make it, 80 to 90% of what the K1 ultimately was performance-wise. Yep. And was going through this really cool stereophile review. Got another one in there from Michael Fremer. I always like reading his reviews. He's a great read no matter what product he's on. But looks like he had spent quite a bit of time with it and loved the phono section and raved about it too. And I know that's kind of his shtick. So I guess if it passes his tests, it's probably a good phono stage.
Yeah, indeed. I'm gonna say I was
there. Well, while you're thinking on that, so this was still part of our 2 chassis design language too. Yep. So it still had that secondary power supply box, it looks like. Yeah. I remember what I was gonna say. So it had pretty much the same kind of trajectory as far as upgrades. And so, the X and the E, it was this pretty much in parallel with the K1 as far as that goes. And again, that was pretty much entirely power supply related upgrades. But I'll note that, especially for this product, the only time we ever saw a K3 in was when it needed upgrade. It's probably been our most reliable product. We rarely see them in for service. It's been a fantastically reliable product. Yeah,
which is obviously always our goal, and we're always improving. And so moving forward, hope to emulate that more and more.
Yeah, that's definitely another one of the products that I've noticed since I've been here that hasn't been here at all. Like I think I've seen one come in since my time with Ayre, and yeah, I mean the people that I do talk to that have them, they rave about them as well. I love the aesthetics of it, and the these knobs. I want to take some of these knobs for my RX-7's HVAC.
Yeah,
I would love to have those all the time.
Yeah. And that photo there reminds me, like, I'm not sure if we talked about the actual remote handset when we talked about the K1. And so this is the exact same one that we ship with the K1 as an option. And so that remote handset, again, that was basically a billet handset that we designed. And so it's a billet and it's machined out, and then it has a little back cover, and then with two little screws, you take those off to access a little battery pack, and a really simple circuit board in there. Again, like when we you used to have only 3 buttons when we did the K1, K3, but then when we released product number 4, we had to add a 4th button. So there's two different versions of that remote, but the original one just had 3 buttons. It was just volume up, volume down, and essentially mute. And so again, the control functions were exactly like the K1. It has that toggle switch, basically toggle between on, which was blue, and green. And that was one of the things we got the most kind of questions or odd questions about, and really is like, well, why isn't green, kind of like a stoplight, I mean, go, and and then why blue? And so, well, I tried like that, and like blue was quite a bit more rare, and it was just he just really thought it was a real a beautiful color. And like, which color would you rather have glowing in your stereo as you're listening to? And the blue was just a much more pleasant color. So that's what I went with. And I had that tricolor LED, exactly the same. It was K1, where it was red. There was when you first powered it on, there was like a 90-second warm-up period where it stayed in red, and it would time out and go to green, and you would flip that little switch and toggle between blue and green. And the other main difference here is that it had 4 inputs as opposed to six of the K1. So again, just scaled down, and it had fewer number of volume steps. Again, just to differentiate as well as to save a little bit of cost. But this is, as far as products we've made, this is up there among my favorites. It really is. The one we have back in R&D, I think is going to end up in my home system pretty soon here.
That's cool. Yeah, well, we got to keep one for the museum so we can get the Hall of Ayre going here. So when we get some visitors, get some tours, which I'm happy to give if somebody wants to stop by anytime. But yeah, it'd be fun to get all of these products that we talk about over the span of the year here and go through our history. It'd be nice to get an example of each one, just so that you can.
I'd love to do that. I've been planning that for years, and just haven't had the time and resources to actually make that happen yet. But yeah, I'd love to have just a nice long display case or whatever, some display method, just have them all out and be able to see them all would be fantastic.
Yeah, so it was 31 steps, it looks like, instead of 46 steps.
That sounds right.
So 31 1.5 dB increment.
Yeah,
steps.
well, it was I think, like the K1, it wasn't just same size steps. So there was like smaller steps in kind of the meat of the region, and then bigger steps at the top and bottom.
Oh,
It wasn't even steps throughout. So if you look at the manual, it shows like these steps are 3 dB and these steps are 2 dB and these steps are 1.5 dB. And anyway,
yeah. So it followed a lot of the same principles as the K1, like flush mounted circuit board, and there was, you know, some wires to connect part of it. So I guess that that was a bit of a difference there, but fewer steps, fewer inputs. It just sounds like kind of the same topology, but less.
yeah, it was exact same circuit. Yeah, I mean the actual schematic. I don't think there's hardly any difference whatsoever. It is literally almost the same. So it really, yeah, it was again, it's really just in the layout and separation of boards and capacitor parts quality. Yep, it's that was you know, again, like, you know, again, one of the original kind of core Ayre values was that value, and this epitomized that, you know, the audio value. You couldn't beat this product.
Yeah. So something that I just discovered today, I didn't know this until just a few minutes before we hopped on, but it looks like there was I just think this is really cool. There was a revision that we had done just as recently as 2020, even just a kind of a reliability update, it looks like. But just the fact that we still, you know, put the time into, you know, pursuing those things for a product this old, I think is really cool. So as April 28th, 2020, we enacted a kind of a new update for it. So if anyone's got a K3 out in the wild that wants to send it our way for any sort of diagnostics or upgrade, yeah, just as of 2020, we did something. It's not going to drastically change performance or anything, but it's just a reliability thing. And yeah, it's just cool. The last time we did one was 2007, so you know, it's just neat to me that it's not on some list of products that we're not going to care about anymore and just continue on.
Yep.
On the I wish I had asked Clay this before I got in, but we might have parts available. But on the remote, like you were talking about, I mean, it seems a little different than than a lot of the other remotes that I'm familiar with out there, in that we can actually kind of service some of these older remotes. It seems a bit easier too. Do you have anything to comment on that?
Well, besides the fact that it is definitely serviceable, you know, just as long as we have the parts, and there weren't many parts on there. And so that particular remote, I don't know that we've had to service many of those. Again, very much like the actual product itself. It's been a rock. So, but yes, that's a very simple board that we can easily service that.
Yeah, and just the construction makes it easy to get to. I know there's a lot of remotes these days where it's manufactured in such a way you can't really service it or do anything. It's just like if you got a problem, you need a new remote almost.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. Really, really cool, kind of outside of the box design approach through and through. I mean, like I think of other products on the market at the time, and I can't think of anything that would look anything like this inside. Or you know, it's just I know I know technology and brands and how they design things, and this just really stands out to me.
Yeah.
So it's gonna end up in your home system. Any other fun stories that you can share while working on it? Like anything that stands out while you were working on it back when it was new?
Boy, that was a really long time ago. I mean, I distinctly remember soldering around the parts, and at that time I was relatively new to soldering, and certainly on that scale and that kind of volume of solder joints. You can see there, there's a lot of through hole resistors. It was entirely through hole, where the K1 was used quite a bit. What used surface mount resistors, where here everything was through hole. And so no, that that was all I remember was soldering. I don't remember much else about it. So no, I don't have any stories about building it otherwise.
Yeah, no criticisms from Charlie or him coming over to correct you or anything fun.
No, I don't remember anything like that. No.
That's cool. So you might have already touched on this. So it was different foil caps, polypropylene instead of polystyrene is what I was
That's
saying.
correct. Yep. Yeah, it's still they're still rail cap. But yeah, they were yeah, polypropylene caps, which are a bit more common and just a little bit more affordable. Still excellent caps.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the differentiation points between the 1 series and the 3 series products.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's where I was going next with it. Just wanted to differentiate that between those two there. Yeah, well, it looks like Michael Fremer loved it, and this review on Stereophile was a fun read, July 1, 98. So go back in time a little bit and read that one. I'll put it in the comments so people can find it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'll point out there is you can kind of see on those audio boards and phono boards there is that it's almost entirely JFET based. See some of the larger transistors are MOSFETs, and those are voltage regulation state section of the circuit, but otherwise it's entirely JFET.
And then I know you mentioned that most of the upgrades were centered around power supply, but anything that you want to point out there?
No. I mean, there was a fairly simple power supply there, with just with the choke input filtering and just the capacitance built in here. There was no regulation in this outboard power supply. All of the regulation was in the it was on the main boards. I think we did single stage regulation in the 3 series here, and I think the K1 had double regulation. Again, one of the points in differentiation between the two product lines. You can see our air conditioner here, which was again one of the upgrades, and some of the AC filtering, and there was also some upgrades you can't see on the bottom of that power supply board there. We had some add-on components we added on at one point. I can't remember if we did a detachable umbilical cord at some point or not. Honestly, it's been so long I can't remember. That is the permanently attached version. It's not permanent. You can still unscrew the terminals and pull it out, but far less convenient. I suspect we did a detachable version, but honestly I don't remember right this second. Yeah, and also maintain that whole upside down text to be able to look over the top of it and look down. That was retrained for this.
Yeah, like the K1.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
So,
yeah, super cool. I like this piece.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's an interesting photo there, just because there was a brief era in time again where some of the rail caps we couldn't get, so that was a temporary. That photo proves that there was a brief period in time that we didn't use rail caps on the audio board because we couldn't get them for a period of time. So
wait, let's supply chain issues before COVID.
I'm sorry.
It was supply chain issues before COVID. No.
Yeah. 20 years ago or something. Yeah. There's still you can see that they were still custom made for us. You can see our see our name on them. I see it says Ayre on them, so they were still custom made for us.
Yeah.
And those still would have been a polypropylene.
This is probably a good Clay Hansen question, but if somebody had those particular caps, could they get the rail ones put in, or is that something we could do?
That's theoretically, yes. I'm not sure that that's something that we do or encourage, or I'm not sure if that there's a benefit to it, or not for benefit. So yeah, I'm not going to give a definitive answer there.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of a cool piece of history almost too. I wouldn't change it. I'd probably leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of? Because this
No,
is fun for me to get to learn about a lot of our old stuff, because it predates my time with the company so much that there's no shortage of things that I can learn about them.
yeah, no, I don't think so. I think and again, that picture right there reminds me of that. I think I try to remember if that might have been the first product that we offered a full silver body there, because it used to be that the body of the component was always black, but then we offered silver and black face plates. Yeah, so it was full black, so it was kind of more typical, whereas black body and a silver faceplate. And we might have been the first product that we, but then we brought it to the K1 as well, where you could order it as full silver, including obviously the power supply there, which I did not remember, but that photo proves it. I don't remember everything.
Yeah, I like it in all silver. I think it looks slick. Well, yeah, I think this is a good history lesson for me. I appreciate this. So yeah, thanks for catching me up. We have a bigger picture. We have kind of a story that we are telling here, and so we're building up for a lot of cool stuff. And this is kind of foreshadowing some fun new episodes that are coming up ahead. And I know we keep talking about cool guests, but apparently they are very busy people, and we will get them on.
They are
soon.
busy. Yeah.
But, gosh, yeah, that's all I've got. Well, I think that's it, Ariel. Unless there's any last bits of wisdom you can impart on us.
No, that's it for tonight.
All right. Well, I'm going to call it. Here. We're closing this session of Pints with Ayre. Cheers to you. Cheers to you all. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again next week, and still have some big announcements coming up, but we like to do things with a lot of surprises and and suspense, and we like to make it count. So stay tuned. Thanks for hanging out with us, and have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.